Often in the day-to-day craziness of everyday life, special needs parents don't have time to sit down with other parents to let them know things that they want them to understand about their kids when they interact with them, things that are heavy on their heart but often don't come up in regular conversation. And so here's some things that a lot of special needs parents just want other parents to understand about their children. First of all, help them to focus on what they can do, not what they can't. Often the world tells them a lot what they can't do, and they think then about what they can't do also a lot. So helping them to see themselves from a different perspective and what they can do and what they can add to a group or a discussion or class really helps their self-esteem and helps them to realize that they do have ways that they can contribute. Second of all is that slowness is not a bad thing. Slowing down to the pace of a special needs child is often a wonderful gift if you allow yourself to be able to do that, and that you can see the world from a whole new perspective when you do that. We run at such a fast pace in our lives, and one of the gifts of having a special needs child sometimes is the ability to have to slow down and to have to see life from a different perspective. So enjoy that. Don't struggle with it. Again, small victories are lovely celebrations. Kids with special needs often struggle to do things that we find so simplistic. And just taking that time to celebrate those victories with them, you can find great joys in small things that maybe you had never realized before. And just because my child doesn't make eye contact doesn't mean that they're not listening. This is very, very common in kids with special needs. Oftentimes when they have attention issues or sensory issues, having something to fidget with or looking somewhere else doesn't mean that they're not listening. It just means that they're trying to focus, and focusing for them looks very different than putting their eyes on something. And finally, just because my child doesn't always exhibit the best behavior, they may seem rude or loud or offensive, doesn't mean that I like that behavior, and it doesn't mean that we're not working on it at home. It just sometimes takes a long, long time to train those things into children, that those are things we don't do in public. Because oftentimes when they do those things, it's not that they're trying to be rude. Oftentimes after they've realized that they have done those things, they feel very, very bad. But in order to create boundaries and to get out of things that are very, very uncomfortable for them, they often do these things to create that space. And it takes a lot of training and a lot of time for kids to be able to create ways to come back to those types of situations in a less offensive way that we can, in normal, typical children, it's easier to train in. So just be patient with my child if they happen to act out like that, and realize that they're not doing it to be mean or to be rude or to go up against your authority, but they're really just trying to create a barrier to keep themselves safe. So these are some things that parents who have special needs children really like you to know about their kids.